winter, darkness, finality. Clouds cling overhead with devotion. But what would the clouds be without the sky? My breath is cold in my mouth. I'm cold. Directionless. Adrift. It's time I return to the earth.
Corey, it's back.
Do you think people are going to be upset by this bit?
Who, the Scorpion Clan? You know Rokugan's fictional, right?
Oh yeah, that was a good point. For over 10 years, Legend of the Five Rings has been the go-to setting for a feudal Japanese role-playing game with a fantasy twist. It's Japanese enough for enthusiasts of the culture, and probably Japanese enough for you. The latest version of the game is by Fantasy Flight. It came out last year, and I've been excited to play. Me and my crew over on Cyber Samurai, every Saturday if you're lucky enough to catch it live, we've been putting it through its paces, seeing what this guy can do, and you know what? Wow, it does a lot. Maybe too much. If you never heard of this game before, if you don't know what Legend of the Five Rings is, in a nutshell, different samurai clans fight each other over dominance of the Empire, and also, they fight evil demons of the Shadowlands. Didn't I say this was a fantasy game? Yeah, so you can play an elf or a dwarf samurai, right? No. Though having an immortal elven race that follows Bushido would be awesome. Get on that, Fantasy Flight. Instead, you play different flavors of people, different clans, whose goals define their personalities. These goals and cultural identities are so disparate that it's like playing different races in other games. There are 7 clans: the Brutal Crab, the Artistic Crane, the Enlightened Dragon, the Stoic Lion, the Mystic Phoenix, the Sinister Scorpion, and the Adventurous Unicorn. Each have something unique to offer, so much so that you'll find yourself rooting for your own side despite yourself. You might even see yourself in one of these clans. But enough about the world. Let's talk about the game. This version of the game is its 5th iteration, but don't you dare call it 5th edition. What are you, a scrub? A scrubby little person doing scrubby things with a scrubby? No, that ain't you. You know that this is the first version to be published by Fantasy Flight. New publisher, new product, hell, even a new story. That's right, Fantasy Flight is pulling a Disney and throwing out all of the lore previously established. You like the Spider Clan? And the garbage. Manus, go back to the kids' table, and you like it. So many fans are pissed. So why do this? You know, I get it. Starting fresh gets rid of a lot of baggage. Room to tell your own stories without stepping on established canon. Writers don't have to, do months of research just to tell a story. They can tell their own stories, going in new and interesting directions no one would have thought to. The downside might be having to retell the same stories already told, and in doing so, you might be compared to the original story. It might be the new 52 of L5R. Not only that, but retelling old stories might become the status quo, meaning lazy writing using the old universe as a crutch. I'm sure there are many of you who are D&Ders, and you're out there like, canon? It's a game world. You get a book, and it's the same world. It doesn't change, it's static. Oh, let me introduce you to L5R. This world grows all the time. It gets richer every year. Nothing stands still. Remember when I said you'd start pulling for your clan? Yeah, there are stakes. But enough about the world. Who cares about the fluff? Let's get to the crunchy bits, starting with the aesthetics. The book is beautiful. You know what? Give me the book. Crystal, give me the book over there.
Crystal, go get me a paper sandwich.
The book is beautiful, which is something we come to expect from Fantasy Flight. Sturdy as heck. The fonts and formatting make it easy to read, and the art is stunning. Unlike most RPG books that start with character creation, this one starts with the basics you need to know to play. I love this setup. It puts the most important things up front. I don't have to flip to page 432 to access a rule. I mean, it would have been great, but they messed it up. They messed it up. While the core gameplay is in the front, things like how skirmishes work, how damage works, other tidbits, they're in the back. This causes me to have to flip from the front of the book to the back of the book often. So I take back everything I said. I hate the formatting of this book. It's the goddamn devil! Yeah! Character creation itself? Amazing. It's one of the things this game does extremely well, and you might find yourself making characters just for the fun of it. Instead of having a point-buy system or randomly rolling, the game wants you to answer a series of questions. The 20 questions. While this has appeared in earlier versions of the game and even in 7C, it was always just an optional extra. Here, boom, center stage. Every question you answer has a pivotal consequence for your character. For example, you'll be asked, "Hey, what does your character think of Bushido?" Depending on your answer, you might become more honorable or learn a new skill that reflects your views. By the time you're done answering all the questions, you'll have a complete character and you haven't even picked up a die or did any math. It comes up organically and will have made you think about aspects of your new character you've never contemplated before. Like, how does your character like to relax? You even thought about how your D&D character relaxes? Probably not. In fact, you're working them too hard, aren't you? Always grinding away at the next dungeon without finding real satisfaction in their life? Slaving away for your amusement? Are they really happy? Fulfilled? When was the last time you told your D&D character that you loved them? Very early on, you'll have to choose what clan your character belongs to. While clans each have their own culture, every clan has 4 families within it. They're like little subcultures that fill niches in the clan's ecology. Each clan also has 4 schools, which act like trade schools for doing awesome things. They give a wide variety with major focuses on Bushi fighters, Shugenja spellcasters, and courtier politicians, with monks and ninjas giving smaller roles that not all clans have access to. Each clan has their own way of approaching each different class, making everything feel unique. For example, if you want to play a tanky fighter, you can play a crab, while Phoenix has a more support style to their fighter class. It not only distinguishes your school from another, but also gives your character a sense of pride in their school. You do things this way, so obviously it's the best. Advancement in the game is very different. It's a skill-based system, like Shadowrun or World of Darkness, but your main abilities, well, they're level-based. That's right. You have levels in a skill-based game, though they call them ranks. How they achieve this is through something called a curriculum. Each school has its own regiment of studies, and by increasing those abilities, a character is able to rank up. Now, a character can go off and do something outside their curriculum, but it could take twice as long to rank up this way. So listen to your teacher. Really, they work hard for you, and you're just playing on your phone in class. Is that helping you rank up? I don't think so. Another thing the game does well is its approach to attributes. Instead of having strength or intelligence, it instead has nebulous stats called rings based on the elements air, fire, earth, water, and void. What is air? How do you use it? Well, that depends on what you're doing. If you're refining, analyzing, tricking, or feinting, you're using air. All of the elemental rings have equally broad uses like this. It allows any skill to be used with any ring, depending on how the character is using that skill. The endless combination encourages creative gameplay, which is awesome. To make a check, a character uses special symbol dice, with 4 different characters on it: Ouroboros, Sharingan, Male Orgasm, and Evil W. Most of my friends hate symbol dice. They confuse people to no end, and I've had players just roll the dice and look at me like, did I do it? It's even more complex because they use a roll and keep system where you can only keep a certain amount of dice based on your rings, discarding the rest. So now you have to decipher dice, then pick the ones you want, and then perform the actions on those dice. Yeah, you heard me right. Each roll of the dice has several actions you must perform.
Action number 1, success.
You need these to actually do the thing you wanted to do in the first place.
Action number 2, explosive success.
These are successes, and you roll an extra die and add it to your pool. These are fun as your players light up, adding more and more dice with malicious glee.
Action 3, strife.
Your character gets stressed out. That's right, your character is an anxious ball of nerves, and if your character gains too much stress, they'll have a panic attack. This is a pretty interesting rule that keeps a PC from overextending themselves. A cool mechanic that can bring more tension to any scene.
Action 4, opportunity.
Other, non-related things happen that are beneficial. I kinda hate these the most. All they seem to do is slow down the game as players want to look over every option and choose the best. It pulls the player directly out of the game and makes them all rules lawyers. They turn to every ability they have and every chart in the book, looking for the best way to use an opportunity. And then, if they feel they didn't use them correctly, later on, they'll kick themselves for it. I know the game creators wanted to use this mechanic to make things more cinematic, but in my experience, all it does is stop gameplay.
To opportunity with
Water.
And that was page 223?
38, I think?
Yes.
238?
Once you've resolved all of these things on your dice, the game can then move forward. If I could, I would just get rid of the unnecessary opportunity, but if I did, it would upset the balance of the game. Without rewriting most of the book's rules, you just have to live with it. Combat has a learning curve to it. Like, a huge learning curve. At first, your players are going to be overwhelmed, and I'm putting it lightly here. There's so much to learn that overload is going to be a given. I'm only going to go over the broad points, and you might be confused by the end of this. First off, there are 5 stances your character can be in, each giving a different effect. Yes, how your character stands matters in combat. Next, you have to perform your action. There are many actions they can take, but you may not know because you'll have to be looking at the book to know about these actions. For example, a character can use an action to take a breath and lose both fatigue and strike. But you wouldn't know that unless the GM reminds you, or you're constantly looking at the book. Once a player gets used to the rules, which is going to be many games, so maybe your players, combat scenes can move along well with one exception: figuring out what to do with those damned opportunities. Hold on, I'm looking at my options. No, I'm looking, critical hits are an interesting rule that just doesn't seem to land home. Either they're inconsequential or cripplingly deadly with little room in between. A katana has the ability to remove a limb, while a warhammer will never kill a person. It's really quite silly, and I think I'll have to build some homebrew into it to make it work. Duel rules are also overly complex, as it mainly becomes a game of resource management, making sure you don't gain more strife than your opponent. There is some good here, including a wagering portion of dueling and ways to outthink your opponent, leading to interesting events. Still, all the actions need an open book to figure it all out. I wish there was a more intuitive way they could have presented this mechanic. Like in all editions of L5R, there's a mass battle section as well. Unfortunately, it really falls flat for me. In previous editions, mass battle was all about individual mini scenes with battles that could sway it in any direction. The PCs would play out these mini scenes and have something both interesting and cinematic. This has been replaced with troop movement and actions you can do as a leader. It feels more like a tactical board game, controlling things from far above than being in the thick of the action. Lastly, we have intrigue scenes, which I'm the most upset at. Intrigue scenes are in every role-playing game. It's, the role-play part. Here, they gave intrigue rounds, actions, and stances you can perform, like a skirmish or a duel. That's right, you take stances to talk. It's so dumb, I'm probably just gonna ignore it forever and imagine it doesn't exist. The game has many interesting mechanics: strife, opportunity, fatigue. On top of that, they add glory, one's reputation; honor, how moral one is; status, one's stations in life; and 2 more new attributes: giddy, one's duty; and ninja, one's passion. Each one of these could make for an interesting mechanic that defines a game, but they opted to put it all in, all of it, at the same time. All it did was make this game so big and unwieldy that most players don't know what to do half the time. As a game master, I'm always forgetting things. Sometimes I miss giving out honor rewards. Sometimes I don't record strife. Hell, I even forgot to tell you about void points.
You can also spend void on this before you roll.
Well, yeah, I already
As
rolled.
with any roll.
So,
There are too many moving pieces in this fiddly-ass game, and it becomes one big headache. The saving grace in all this complexity are the NPCs. They found a way to make NPCs simple. You can even write a powerful NPC on a single card and keep it in front of you for easy access. With all the things one needs to worry about in this game, I'm thankful for easy NPCs that keep the game moving swiftly. So here we go. At the end of the day, what do I think of this game? A steep learning curve is going to keep most casual players away. And if you're used to more simple fare, like D&D, you'll probably want to go back to that comfortable spot, unless you're really looking for a challenge. Those who are really into different experiences in RPGs will find a great deal to like here. There's a lot of value in how this game approaches many topics like skill rolls, strife unmasking, and adding flavor to the game through the dice. L5R fans will be impressed with the amount of love and attention to detail the game provides. I've been enjoying the game myself, even with its flaws. It's no 3rd edition, but what it is a game that takes chances and wants you to think about how you play your character, instead of just going through the motions of slaying monsters and gaining experience. I think it takes great strides with this concept, and I'm eager to see how the game develops down the line. Hey, thank you for watching my review of L5R. If you like this video, subscribe for more. And if you want to support the channel, I've just created a new Patreon. You can find the link down there. But there's more to this Patreon than just supporting me. Every month, I am producing a new RPG module or supplement, something that'll help you bring your games to the next level.